Finally, after waiting more than a month and a half, families from Lahaina are stepping over the broken pieces of their properties.
Right now, it just looks weird. It looks like out of a horror movie.
For Tawny Katayama and her 84-year-old grandmother Noreen, they braced for this moment hours earlier, but that didn't prepare them for the emotional floodwaters that followed.
This is the first time I'm going to see it, so it's pretty bad. After so many years of living here, I just can't say.
With thousands of homes destroyed and families displaced, many came clad in PPE, unsure what they'd find.
There's no expectations to really find anything. Anything that we can find, I feel like is just gonna be bonus.
Like the Vieras, whose parents moved to Lahaina in the 70s.
I think this is the only one that survived.
Yet even in all that rubble, treasures emerged.
Oh, look!
Like this pistol, an heirloom from their grandfather who served in the Maui Police Department almost a century earlier. Remnants of their lives recovered amidst so much that's been lost.
In your opinion, do you think a large percentage of the people who died, their lives could have been saved if things were done differently?
Definitely. Definitely. It is very regrettable, but definitely yes. That's my firm belief.
Sherman Thompson headed Hawaii's Civil Defense Advisory Council for years. After a 2018 fire nearly burnt down Lahaina, officials created a hazard mitigation plan that identified utility lines, roads, and bridges as particularly vulnerable, and the potential for residents to be trapped in Lahaina.
Was it your expectation after a mitigation plan like that emergency officials would have figured out what the escape plan would look like if something like this were to ever happen?
That would have been an almost obvious thing. How to properly mobilize or have mass evacuation taken place. You have to have order and a sense of escape routes and education of the general public.
The ATF is investigating the cause of the wildfires, and Hawaii's Attorney General has launched an independent investigation into the state and local responses. As residents finally seeing what's left of their homes, process and ponder what's next.
You think with two really good incomes, my husband and I, we'd be able to buy a house and, give my children what they deserve, what I had, growing up here. We had a home with a yard and a neighborhood, and it's not possible, because of how expensive homes are.
An unsure future with a few mementos giving them strength in this raw moment.
Okay, and with that, Sam Brock joins us tonight from Miami. So, Sam, you mentioned the ATF is still investigating the cause of this fire, and there's been a lot of lawsuits and finger-pointing over the past month and a half. Can you update us on the latest? Because I feel every time there's a new lawsuit, we're sort of learning something new about a new allegation as to what caused this fire.
For sure. Let's get to the latest reporting, Tom. But first, just sort of a status check. You'll recall that in the immediate days, really 3 or 4 after the wildfires, residents first filed lawsuits against HECO, the Hawaiian Electric Company, alleging that they failed to de-energize their entire system, knowing there was a red flag warning coming. So fast forward a couple of weeks after that, the county of Maui then filed a lawsuit against Hawaiian Electric, alleging not just de-energization, but also negligence and not maintaining their lines. HECO since then came out and said, no, we actually did have those lines de-energized. That first fire might have been responsible or might have come from a down power line, but you guys said it was extinguished and contained. We had nothing to do with the fires that came after that. Where we stand right now, according to the Associated Press, is that investigators are examining an oversized gully underneath Hawaiian Electric power lines and seeing whether or not there might have been brush there that captured embers that could have then created the fire that burned down Lahaina. Now, what they are saying definitively is that there was absolutely no upkeep of some of the brush around that area, but could it be associated with potential negligence? That appears to be part of the investigation right now. But this ATF investigation, Tom, could last months. Right now, we are only about a month and a half into the process.
All right, Sam Brock first with a lot of new reporting as residents return to Lahaina. Sam, we thank you for that.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.